and welcome back to Self-Made Success TV. I'm your host, April Iannazzone, and founder of the Self-Made Success School. And with me today, I have the brilliant Kim Shivler. Now, Kim has worked on some of my websites. She's helped me with some of my membership sites in the past, and I just adore her. So I wanted to make sure she was on today's show. Kim teaches entrepreneurs to build educationally sound online courses and communities to establish their expert status, increase sales, and find more personal satisfaction in their business. She's worked as a writer, instructor, developer, and a serial entrepreneur for over 20 years. Her business experience includes computer network and database administration, technical training and writing, project management, web development, and she even worked as an esthetician and a spa owner. She also worked for large corporations including Tivoli, an IBM company, where she was part of a worldwide technical sales and marketing team. In Kim's classes, she marries the best of educational theory and real-world business for a fun, effective learning experience. Welcome, Kim. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, April. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, and I am so excited to be here because we're going to talk about one of my most favorite topics, how to build a product that is an online course. And I know everybody that's watching this now, they're watching on the internet, they're probably buying online products, and if they don't have something of their, well, let's say they do have something of their own, maybe they're not sure how to really launch it the right way, or if they don't have something of their own, they really are, they want to do it, they just don't know where to get started. So I know we both have years of experience in this, and so I'm so glad to have you on for this discussion.
Oh, I'm excited too. We always like building and launching and playing with products.
Exactly.
It's exciting.
So can you tell us, why do you think online courses are so popular right now?
Well, I think there's multiple reasons. They're as you pointed out, they're super hot. I always say that this is going to be the year of the online course, the way that 2014 was said to be the year of becoming storytelling or putting storytelling into your business. And the reason for that is twofold. One, it's one of the most powerful ways to create a connection with your audience through a product. So as opposed to just an ebook that someone writes and they download, when an online course is done well, you have interaction between student and teacher, and that creates a much deeper connection than just reading an ebook. And people are looking for connection. They're also looking for improving their life as quickly as possible. Yeah. So when you're taking a course and you have that interaction, you can get right to the meat quickly, get your questions answered, etc., as opposed to having to dig through a big tome and not knowing if you're actually going to get what you're looking for. Yeah. And you do notice, I point out a well done course, because we do have, just like we have some horribly written ebooks, we have some really not sound courses out there, or things people are calling courses that are really nothing more than a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And, I love what you said about, people want that deeper connection, and not only with the teacher and the student, but a lot of times online courses also have a community. And, people are a lot of times you're feeling alone, or maybe you're stuck in your neighborhood, the same play group if you're a parent, the same set of friends that don't think outside the box and are so used to the status quo, but you're looking for something a little bit higher or just a different perspective on things. So the community that an online course also builds, if they offer a Facebook group or a forum inside that course, I know from my own personal business, I've connected with, I belong to a lot of online courses and coaching online, and I connect with people all over the world, that are way more advanced in business than I am. And it's incredible the amount of community and how open people are to supporting each other once you're both invested in the same type of thing.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I teach when I teach people to build online courses is focus on the community. Focus on the fact that you're opening it up to people who There may be, and some of them may be more advanced, as you mentioned, but a lot of times they are people who are going through some of the same things, particularly if it's an introduction course, not a higher level course.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that camaraderie of, okay, we're in this together. And especially I think, with what I teach, a lot of it is technology sometimes. So if I'm teaching people how to build a website or an online membership area, they see themselves as kind of the newbies. And by sharing with each other, they realize they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just pop out of, my father's head like Athena knowing this stuff. I had to learn it. And they're then getting that support with each other as they learn too.
Yeah.
I think the same is true of, and it's not just if you're teaching technology, say you're a health coach or a wellness coach, you've got people with shared situations. They might look at you and think, man, she looks like a fitness model. How could I ever be like that? But by teaching them and developing the connection with them and as well as with each other, it gives them that motivation to actually keep going.
And when you learn how to have a product as an online course, and when you and I are talking here, a lot of it's going to be about building a business or building the course because we're both that type of coach. However, it's endless. I mean, as you mentioned, you could be a health coach, but you can have a product for mothers and daughters to bond. That can be an online course. You can get a deeper connection with your husband, or how can I finally divorce my husband online course. It's really, the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. And I was so glad you pointed that out because a lot of times people will come to me and they'll say, well, I just don't know if this works for me. It works for technology. It works for business coaches. But as you said, anything, if you have something, any message to convey to anyone about anything, it can be turned into an online course. I was working with a client yesterday and she said, well, I don't see how this would apply to me. I have a restaurant. And I said, Grace, they have a wonderful Chinese restaurant here where I am. And I said, well, you already teach cooking classes here at the restaurant at night. Let's turn one of those into an online course. Let's pick something that's not done all the time and do it. And that's going to benefit your restaurant locally within the community, but also now expands your business so you're not just local.
Yeah.
And then she said, the light went on, and now that's what we'll be working on starting today for her.
And that's a great point because a lot of times brick and mortar businesses, they limit the amount of growth that they could have. Because let's say you're a gym. I have a couple of local gyms that are my clients. You can only fit so many people in the gym at one time. You can only sell so many memberships. And most of them, they still have some room to add more members, but there is a cap. If they also create the online course and online training and nutrition plans and all of that stuff and build a community online, now it's endless. You have the whole world to sell to.
Exactly. And from a gym's perspective, they've even got multiple ways they could break that down. They could break it down to the end user. Mm-hmm. They could build a community and a course around the trainers that would come to a gym and train people. They could take it to the next level and possibly even build something about how to build a successful gym for other gym owners. So they don't even have, I would recommend they did one at a time, not try to do it all at once.
Yeah.
But they definitely have a lot of options to sit down and plan and think what would be best for them.
Wonderful, yeah. So when people, they have that idea, they are getting excited hearing us talk about the possibility. Where can they start? What type of courses could they create?
Well, the first one I usually recommend people create is there one specific thing one specific message they're always sharing? What is the one thing their clients are constantly asking them about? Mm-hmm. Because if it's the same, it's something you are teaching, whether it's speaking live frequently or people are calling you to ask you this, you've already got the start on the content.
And if you don't have, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah.
If you don't have clients yet, if this is something new to you, What are your friends and family always going to you for advice on? Do they want you to pick out their outfit for a night out on the town? Are they calling you for advice for the children? Are they calling you for recipes? What is it that others are asking you for advice on?
Yeah, and that's perfect. It doesn't have to be paying clients. It's, in fact, a woman I'm working with right now. She doesn't have paying clients, but there are certain things people always ask her about. So that's where we're going to start, because now this is where people see my expertise, and obviously I'm delivering value. And at that point, what I would probably do with them or recommend to them, if they don't have a client base yet, they're not sure, I would start with laying it down, what they want. We would do a brain dump. I'm really big on brain dumps, get it all out there and find those gems that we would do. And then I would configure a pre-sale option and do a build just in time build for the course.
Yeah,
Because if you're just getting established and you're not sure, you do want to, you don't want to spend 200 hours or something getting a beautiful thing done, and then there's not an audience for it.
I absolutely agree. And, guys, a lot of people shy away from the pre-sale, but it's a great way to, one, get a little bit of money in. So you have, if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money to invest, you get a little bit of money in, so you can invest that money in some great landing pages or in some Facebook ads driving it to the landing pages. And the pre-sale, you have to give them a significant savings, so it's worth it for them to buy before they even really know what it is they're purchasing. But you're going to have some amazing testimonials from those people too if you're delivering some amazing content. So I'm glad you brought the pre-sale part of the online product or online course launch up, because most people ignore that, or it doesn't even come into their mind.
Yeah, I think it's key for any product, whether it's courses or books or whatever. I think that all the points you just said, if you pre-sell, you do get that money in to have a little investment. You validate that it's something people want to buy. Sometimes you have to tweak it, right? Sometimes you validate that maybe it wasn't quite exactly where you needed to name it or market it, and so it needs a tweak. And then it also forces you to do the creation. Yes. How many times are we working with ourselves or with someone else and they're saying, well, I'm going to do this, or I'm writing this. If you've sold it, you have to deliver it.
Yes, and so I want to touch on two things you just said. Let's finish up with that one first, because most of the time when clients come to me, and I'm sure you're having the same issue, when they come to me, they're like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to do this course, but I can't sell it yet because I need the whole course, I think someone just came to me with a 90-day course, and they wanted to complete the whole thing before they even put it up for sale, which to me, one, you're going to always put it off. It's going to be, okay, another month. I'm going to give myself another couple weeks. Okay, now 3 more months, something else more important came up. So that's number one. Number two is the validation. Validation is so important because, like you mentioned, we need to make sure people actually want it. And a lot of times we think they want something, and maybe they need it, but they don't know they need it. So we have to make sure it's something that people are actually going to pay for before you spend, like you said, 200 hours creating something.
Right. Exactly. It also forces you to get out of perfection mode. That's one of the reasons people don't finish things. It's got to be perfect. Yeah. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. I have a client right now, and he's doing my coaching program, not just my classes, but the coaching program. And he has people actually asking for what he does. They want to pay. And he's getting hung up on, was the video good enough? And I watch it and I said, the video's fine. Yes, if you want to tweak your lighting a little bit in the future or moving forward, great. But right now you're just sitting on this, not selling it because you're worried the lighting wasn't as good as you wanted in the video. Let's get it out there. Let's sell it, and let's add value to people. Because once you get the course out there and you start adding that value, you're going to see where even if the video had been perfect, where you want to make tweaks and
Yeah.
improvements and what didn't work. And something you think was just a brilliant little gem flops
Yeah.
beautifully right in front of the audience. And you have to back up and say, wow, I missed that. Let's tweak it. And I think you're better off to get the course out there and let that first group, what I always call my early adopters, my first
Mm-hmm.
group, sometimes my first two groups, go through and let's see where we need to fix it, where I was over their head, where I missed something, where the
Yeah.
blooper reels came in. And then we will get it really more perfected and do a bigger launch next time.
Yeah, and like you even said, sometimes it's even the second. Every time I have a 12-month course, every time I launch it, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit better. And I also charge a little bit more each time from where I
Exactly.
first started. But that's how you grow. So um, so they have their idea, they know what they help people with. Now, do you suggest that they start off with like a boot camp type course, or I always like to say a smaller chunk at the beginning to make sure it's how you like delivering it, whether it's video, audio, workbooks, forum. But is there a sweet spot that you think that people should start off with, like a chunk of time?
Yes. And I think the biggest place to start is to actually get it, brain dump everything out on paper,
Mm-hmm.
and then go through and flesh out based on that brain dump what 6, 8, 10 modules you would put in this course. What normally happens if someone's never done this before is they think I don't have anything to say. And by the time we're done with the brain dump, they've got 4 courses,
Mm-hmm.
and they're thinking they're going to cram all that into one. Unless you're doing something like a 12-month series. If you're just doing something more automated or 1 month, 2 month type thing, keep it at that 6, 8, 10 modules and then make the next one the next course.
Yeah. And I always do say too, if you're brand new, don't start off with 12 months because then you're locked in. So you have to make sure it's something that you like doing first. So if you're going to do something longer, I would say cap it at 6, but don't do more than 6 months. But a 6-week boot camp, 8-week, 12-week boot camp is perfect, I think, a starting point. And it doesn't have to be a boot camp, a course or whatever.
Right. Absolutely. And if you want it, and consider too, and this is something I teach them how to plan out the course and decide how much of it's going to be actual live webinars. If there's going to be any, is it going to be fully automated? The more automated it is and the less interaction live they have with you, the more you need to tighten it.
Yeah.
Because people just aren't going to take. It's not like back in the day of the early DVD classes where it was seen as a benefit. I've got 128 hours for you
Yeah.
and all these DVDs and it's really heavy. And now people are like, I don't have time for 128 hours. If you can teach it to me in 4, do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And truthfully, you get boring too. People get tired of hearing you. So I actually, once in a while, have some guest experts come into my courses just to break it up a little bit because they're like, oh, April again.
Yes,
Even
it's
though
a
they
great
love what
thing.
I'm saying, but you need to break up the monotony a little bit. So,
Absolutely.
Kim, I always love everything you say, everything you teach. And I know that you have a course coming up. So, you want to tell our audience a little bit about it?
I do. I have my next series launch coming up next Friday. That's May 20th. And the series launch actually launches with 3 free classes. They can take one, they can take them all. And the reason I do 3 is people are coming to me in different areas. The first class is an online course even right for me? How can it help my business?
Mm-hmm.
The second one is, okay, I want to do this online course thing. What type of platform should I pick? What's the best way for me? Because there's not one right way.
Yeah.
And then the next other class is, okay, I know I want to do this. How do I get started with the content? And that
Mm-hmm.
actually goes into my very first class in the How to Build an Online Course whole series, which is Introduction to Content Creation. And then, of course, we go into more depth on picking the platforms if they choose to come on board, how to actually use each platform, and then how to actually market it. Because if you build it, they won't come unless you market it right.
So the first series with the 3 classes, is that a free series or is that a paid series?
The first 3 are the launch day is a launch party series. Those are free. So
Okay,
you can
so
sign up and you can get a little feel for how I teach, for what the different options are.
yeah, so just if you guys want to learn a little bit more about how to build a product as an online course, you can just, I'll put the link below. You can get into Kim's series, and there's those 3 classes that she just spoke about, and learn a little bit more, see if it's the right fit for you. And then, if it is, then you can continue to work, you continue down Kim's tunnel there. But Kim, as always, it's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's always fun. Always fun when we get to do one of these. I enjoy it.
Perfect. So I will talk to you all soon. See you on the next episode.
Bye.